Support for NPR comes from the station and from Procter & Gamble, maker of Nervive. Nervive Nerve Relief is designed to reduce occasional nerve aches, weakness, and discomfort in hands or feet due to aging. Learn more at nervivehealth.com. From BritBox, with the goal of helping people discover a world of British TV, including new original series Archie, The Man Who Became Cary Grant, streaming at BritBox.com/NPR. And from listeners like you, who donate to this NPR station.
This is All Things Considered from NPR News. I'm Juana Summers.
And I'm Mary Louise Kelly. The world's leading artificial intelligence company is under legal assault. OpenAI, maker of ChatGPT, was most recently sued by the New York Times for copyright infringement, but it's also facing suits from book authors, artists, music labels, and others. NPR tech correspondent Bobby Allen is here to explain. Hey there.
Hey, Mary Louise.
What are all these lawsuits against the owner of ChatGPT? What are they all about?
Yeah, they all come down to data and how this data is being used. OpenAI in developing popular tools like ChatGPT and the image creator DALL-E crawled the entire internet for text and images and other material, and from that enormous bucket of data, these AI tools learn and are able to create something new. The big legal question now is, did the company break the law by scraping up parts of the internet that contained copyrighted material? And if they did this, Mary Louise, with a licensing agreement, then it would be fine. But instead, OpenAI did it without permission and without payment. I talked to Ed Claris about this. He's a former general counsel at The New Yorker, and he's an expert in intellectual property law.
You can't just go and steal huge archives and then say it's too hard to the rule of law.
Contrary to the rule of law. Okay, what is OpenAI saying to defend itself?
Yeah, executives there have long pointed to something in the law known as fair use doctrine, and it says that if copyrighted material is quoted or used in some way in news reporting, research, criticism, you don't need to ask.
What else is a certainty? More of them could have turned out really good if they had been in good situations. So, again, if Mitchell Trubisky had been drafted by Kansas City, am I saying that he'd be the greatest quarterback ever? Certainly not. But his career wouldn't be what it is now. If Sam Darnold had been drafted by San Francisco and, what is his name? Shanahan. What is his name? Kyle Shanahan, sorry. By Kyle Shanahan. Would he be a bust? Which is what everyone in New York called him? Absolutely not. So to me, if you get the movie number one, you take the player, and you allow the alien way to turn that player into Rick, you're exactly right. That's ego. That's someone saying, oh, you give me that lump of clay, and I'm exactly the person who is going to mold it into the statue of David. When the reality is, the statue of David exists. Well, that's a terrible analogy because it is just a unique thing. But you understand the point I'm making. This is as much a product of the environment as it is anything else. Agree or disagree?
Agree. It's almost exclusively a product, and that's not to diminish Patrick Mahomes or anyone else that turns out great. But in his particular case, he's drafted by a team with a Hall of Fame team. He drafted to a team with maybe the best bridge quarterback of all time in Alex Smith, the hand of the time, with a Hall of Fame wide receiver and a Hall of Fame tight end. Like, nothing could have possibly been better, especially when they gave him a year to learn, which is the other thing that teams regularly fail to do. A lot of these decisions are driven by ownership. I'm convinced that Brayshawn is the Panthers quarterback right now because David Tepper wanted him to be a year ago. And you watch some TV show and you hear someone say he's just like Patrick Mahomes and we want a face of our franchise, we're getting that guy because I like Patrick Mahomes. It's so much more complex for me. Just because quarterback is the most important position in sports doesn't mean that you have to put everything else in your organization behind that. It is an important thing. But when you make an important thing the ultimate thing, you wind up failing more often than not, and that's why you see these organizations in this vicious cycle.
Yeah, so let's go back in time. Let's just use the Bears. The Bears take Justin Fields first in 2021, and they roll him out there. He starts 10 games as a rookie. They take Mitchell Trubisky, and they throw him out there. He starts 12 games. They go, well, Cutler's a different example, because Rex Grossman, that's a bad example too, but whatever. The point is, you draft these guys, and you just throw them out there. The Jets are a better example. I know that one off the top of my head. When the Jets drafted Sam Darnold, they had 2 veterans on their roster. They had Teddy Bridgewater, and they had someone else. I know I can't remember who it was.
You mean another quarterback, right?
Right. And they decided for no reason just to play Darnold in his first game. He played on a Monday night against Detroit. The first pass he ever threw was brought back for a touchdown by the other team. There was no reason to start him immediately. Terrible decision. Everything they did to that kid ruined him. Everything that the Giants did to Daniel Jones the first couple of years ruined him. To his everlasting credit, Jones bounced back and had a good year. So the other premise that you're assuming if you're going to trade 3-1s for Caleb Williams if you're the Giants is that you're giving up on Daniel Jones? Like, have we just is that it? We're done with him now?
It sounds like they did.
Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell him he's wrong for that. Like, that's probably not... I'm very, very torn on that. I would never have given him the contract he got in the first place. So I'm not going to sit here and say, well, you should compound the mistake by never letting it go. But I guess, Bubba and Cam, let me get you guys into this conversation. Because you hear what we're saying, and we are generally on the same side. Do you take the other side? If you were rooting for a bad team, you're both rooting for teams that have good quarterbacks. You've got Jalen Hurts and Prescott quarterbacking your teams. They're both good, and they're both young.
And not first-round picks, by the way.
And neither one of them, that's exactly right. Jalen Hurts was a second-round pick, and Dak went in the 4th round. But if you were in this situation, would you trade 3-1s for a rookie who looks like he has a chance to be an all-time great?
I don't think I would, because, like we just went over that success rate, I think the success rate is so low, and yeah, I'm just not convinced it's going to work out. So, and like you...
Back here at home, in her own good land, she's been abused, she's been burned.
You gotta respect that.
I mean, for me, the 3 best ones were Tebow, Cam Newton, and would you put anybody else?
Most of them won't stick. But here's one that's not only easy to keep, but will help you feel healthier all year long. And Division. I'm glad you're with us for this Wednesday edition of Renewing Your Mind. We're beginning...
Oh, Thursday.
That was the right bet. Over Reggie Bush and Vince Young.
And then we're out of the 2000s.
Your best bet is not...
Something new. So, though he is narrowly favored, I think this election could really go.
Are likely before noon, mostly cloudy, and a high